Danse nito dem Gakia ni wagabantek tawalinis yung gatswea tukoy nusko ni hihuin bagi tao say in Otsinia Treaty 6 territory. So my English name is Tala Tootoosis, and I would really just like to say thank you to the organizers and everybody for doing this. And I'm going to do my best to present. And so I'm going to go through a quick slide right here that you'll see on the left. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I'll do my best. And it's really important to understand that when we're talking about missing and murdered Indigenous women, there are staggering statistics. And one of the biggest things that people don't take into consideration is how that is related to the extraction of resources of the earth, how it is related to poverty, how it is related to the fact that we are oppressed people and highly marginalized. These are big contributors. So you can't see it on the PowerPoint, but for those who are watching, a really good way to combat that would be to have proper governing systems of all that our people deal with, to have proper helpers in those places, to be able to create proper voice. Next slide. And so who are the missing and murdered Indigenous women movement? Well, mostly our grandmothers, their grandfathers, aunties, uncles, cousins, sisters, brothers, fathers, mothers, their nieces, their nephews, their relatives. They're mostly on the ground. And the movement is all over the Turtle Island, and people are just doing their best to try to find a way to make a change. Next slide. And so the statistics, which I can't see right now, I apologize for that, but just to sum it up, there are disproportionate rates, meaning extremely staggering rates of Indigenous women, men, girls, boys go missing and get murdered, get kidnapped, and those legal cases do not get seen as often as non-Indigenous people. In Saskatchewan, Alberta, Manitoba, which are the statistics on the PowerPoint, it is basically 7.2 or 6.2 to 100,000. So majority of those people who've gone missing or who've been murdered between the year, I believe it is 2019 to 2021, it has been mostly Indigenous people. Next slide. And so this picture is of, I can't see. Oh, Gracie her many horses. So I remember when I first started learning about MMIW, I read an article in the Lakota Times, and it was talking about a man camp. And I never understood the correlation, the similarities. How is missing and murdered Indigenous women movement connected to the extraction of resources and protecting the earth? Well, in almost all locations and territories of Indigenous land where there are extractions of resources, where there's logging, where there's fracking, there are higher rates of sexualized violence against Indigenous people. And when you come to an Indigenous community and you are non-Indigenous and you are not from that land, the legalities around that are most people have to be dealt with outside legal court systems, not within our own communities. It's a jurisdiction issue. So a lot of the times when people try to find out what's going on to our people, and it's done by other people, it gets lost in translation. So the cases go cold, or they get unsolved, or they just don't get dealt with. Gracie her many horses is quoted having had noticed a 4-year-old running away from a man camp, had been SA'd, sexually assaulted, seeing a teenage boy who had been sexually assaulted. These are things she saw as a retired Federal Bureau of Investigation agent. These are serious, serious issues because these are our communities where this is happening, where the extraction of resources are continuing. And not only extraction of resources, but they are, what is the word I should be using? Just a complete assault on our people, not only the land, but our women, our children, our men, our teenagers. Next slide. So this is a quick video, and we'll just skip the video because it's very long. But in Saskatchewan, Alberta, Manitoba, I think this is just Edmonton alone. There's intervention support that you can call a crisis number. And then there's also families can get information about justice system, legal processes, updates, criminal investigations, court proceedings, fatality inquiries involving loved ones connected to missing and murdered Indigenous women of Canada. So there are some strategies to help by the government, but majority of it is not Indigenous-led, nor is it Indigenous-focused. And that's what's happening. That's one of our loopholes that we're struggling with. We'll just skip through the next slide and the next one. And then the next one, sorry. And keep going, yep. And so if we think about our calls to action, how are we going to address this? Next slide. I want you to look at these pictures. These are pictures from Sylvia McAdams' doctoral thesis, which hasn't been published yet. But they're topless, the dresses are short, they're tattooed, their breasts are showing. And if you have to ask yourself why they're dressed this way, do they look fully dressed? Are those from our tribes? I remember she showed us to this at our school. I'm a Master's of Indigenous Social Work student. I graduate next week. And part of our orientation was Sylvia McAdams' presentation. And what she shared with us was prior to colonialism, we dressed according to climate. So in the Plains area, it was so warm that we dressed practically, meaning we were topless and our dresses were very short. We didn't have hypersexuality of our bodies because we didn't deal with hypersexuality. That was a part of colonialism. That was part of the sexual abuse and sexual assault of the settlers and colonial contact. So when you look at that picture like this, I remember when I thought about this, I thought about modesty, I thought about traditional teachings of being told to cover up. I thought about being told that when sexual assault victims come forward, they're asked in a police report, what were you wearing? Were you drunk? These are victim-blaming statements. And it's the same thing if you think about consent and sovereignty of land. When we stand up and we say, you shouldn't dig here, you shouldn't pick this, they continually say that we made agreements allowing it to, which is not true, because lack of consent is not truth. And that is so important to understand how consent relates to everything. Next slide. So for me, I wanted to bring forth a story that I learned with ribbon skirts for myself, because I questioned when I seen pictures like this. It's a picture from like the 1800s or 1900s, black and white picture of women wearing dresses with ribbons on it. And a lot of people used that picture and would say things like, this is what we do, this is how we wear things, and we were modest and we covered up. But we never had a need for that. We had societies, we had protection, we had laws and discipline. And one of the greatest laws that we have is kinship. Next slide. And so how do we bring back the memory and the awareness of what we used to do, and how do we protect our land and protect our people? We have to remember stories like of Desawi, White Buffalo Calf woman. When those two scouts came, they thought of that woman inappropriately, and she was a sacred being. And she came to him and she opened up her robe and she closed it. And when she opened it up again, he became bones. And that story helped heal me as a sexual assault survivor to know that there was nothing I did to ask for that. And in the same way, when we learn to uplift our survivors, we start to talk about sovereignty and consent, we will start to understand how to protect our land and raise up more of our people so that they will understand how to protect their land. Because when you can't protect your own body, you will have a hard time advocating for the Earth's body. That is so important to understand. When you understand body autonomy, that you wouldn't dig in the earth without consent, without protocol, without tobacco, then you understand you won't touch another person's body without consent. They're not separated. Everything is interrelated and connected. Next slide. And so how do we create an awareness and change of this? Boundaries, kinship, protecting yourself, standing up for yourself. And next slide. And to end, I just want to say that I am so thankful for Paula and Orville and for the way that they carry themselves and these grandmothers and these aunties, because this is what we need in order for us to address this. We need more kinship. Thank you.
Ambete washte, Madakiapi, Chante washte Chuzapi. My name is Melanie Stoneman. I'm a Shichungu Lakota from Rosebud, South Dakota. I was asked by Paula in Orville to come and speak for World Peace and Prayer Day on the highlights of MMIW and something that's really dear to me. There's a lot of roles that we play in our societies, and I do a lot of work with the Braveheart Women's Society, and one of my roles is the spiritual food, our wasnas, and the buffalo. My role, I use every part of the buffalo. We do the buffalo songs and the ceremonies and align ourselves as women to be the backbone of our nation and try to revitalize, reawaken, and reseed our Ishnate coming of age ceremony, which is our part of our 7 sacred rites. And today I'm here on another behalf of Sauna Scouts of North Dakota. We have a search and rescue team, and I started volunteering with this organization since 2017 when my daughter Lacey was trafficked, missing and trafficked into the cities. And it was kind of my give back that I got my daughter back. She's back, but she's not the same. She always says that it broke her spirit. So, currently she's suffering from a lot of drugs and alcohol. And the things that happened to her wasn't very good for her. And currently, sorry, it's an emotional moment. Currently, she's on a run and she's out there somewhere. So maybe she hears me and sees me and knows that I'm here to stand and tell her story and all the other missing women and men and LGBTQ people. So that's where it is for me today. So we want to share this women's song, this Dakota women's song, as encouragement for all the families and the people who are currently suffering in this MMIW movement.
This is for all our women, and it's a song of encouragement. And the Dakota words are for all our people, our women, to get together and draw strength, to take courage from each other, from the universe, from Creator, and to draw on the relatives who come. And when relatives come, they bring peace and comfort and joy, and they share whatever burdens we have. It encourages the women to take that strength and use that courage, because our way of life is hard. So this song was given to me through prayer, and we always use that to encourage the women who need strength, because we all do. We all need strength in some way, and we can draw that from each other through prayer, keeping our minds together, standing together. And this is hard work that these ladies do, and I support them in every way that they work to help the women. When we were driving here, we were on the outskirts of Regina, and I had heard about this on the news, that one woman was camping by the landfill in Regina on the eastern side, where we kind of take a shortcut around the city. And I was really saddened. When we came on that road, there was a little tent on the side of the road by the road into the landfill. And she was sitting there by herself. asking for the landfill to be searched for the remains of her daughter. And I really, really felt for her. This was her child, her baby, that had been killed and missing. And as mothers, sometimes we know what happens to our children, where they are. It's something we carry instinctively. And it was so hard to see her sitting there like that by herself. Because in Manitoba, there were some women too that were demanding that the landfill be searched for the remains of some of our women. And it was stonewalled and denied by the white politicians for so long until Wab Kinew got in as premier and he okayed the search of the landfill. And they discovered the names of a woman that was called Buffalo Woman because nobody knew who she was. And then finally she was identified, but there were, I believe, 2 women that were found in that landfill. And this is the kind of work that these women do to help our people. So I stand in support of them, and I want to sing this song for the women. Dakota wia ki briheri chiapi nita kuye ki ahi hone briheri chiapi dakhor wichok aki Otechike hey Dakota wiaki prieri chiapi nita kuyeki ahi huni briheri chiapi dakhor wichoch aki otechikeu ayu.
Thank you very much. It's really good that I have support standing beside me. It is a heavy topic in the things that we do with Sonner Scouts of North Dakota, and you can find us on Facebook. We have a website. We were able to raise enough funds to get 2 cadaver dogs and able to build a website to help us move forward. With my first screen, is my PowerPoint up? Now, some of these are just visuals that we're going to be having more for the people who are in the participating in the Zoom. The United States Department of Indian Affairs, basically there's a lot of statistics in there that talk about how many women experience violence in amounts. And sometimes I don't really like talking about statistics because there's a spirit involved. And it's not just about numbers. It's not just 5,721 people are missing in South Dakota in a certain amount of time. It's actually, they have a name and they have a spirit. And I always take a look at the MMIW as a spirit movement. Before we go out on searches, we offer tobacco and we offer spiritual food. And if they have an Indian name, we call their Indian name 4 times. We sing songs. We really try to maintain ourselves as humble as possible without, we can't have, people using drugs and alcohol while we're on searches. We also would like to continue on with our searches too, with all your support, even the support and prayers. If you could skip over to the slide, this is our logo, and talking about the victimization rates. It should be that with the White Buffalo Calf teachings is that we have what we call a zero tolerance. So no woman should be cussed at. No woman should be slapped or hit or kicked or dehumanized or left behind. Next slide. Human trafficking, a lot of people don't talk about the human trafficking components because they can't see it. It takes years before they actually can see and get data and collaborate with other organizations to even create some kind of system to intervene. Next slide, please. Just here lately, the representative out of North Dakota was able to get what they call a feather alert. And I think that's something that everyone within the states and in Canada should be practicing their sovereignty. And part of that is coming up with your own alert systems to alert when someone is even a runaway or a silver alert. Next slide. When you're dealing with the MMIW family organized searches, one of the main things is that the families end up doing all the searches from the beginning. There is no such thing as having to wait 24 hours to do your search. Also, there's a lot of planning that's involved in these searches. And it seems like a lot of tribal governments make it harder. Even police departments make it harder. Even investigators, it's such a process that I believe that we've been fighting for 500 years since Columbus have landed. And I always go back 500 years because that's such a genocidal statement to say whatever they do to our land, they do to our women and our children. And it's considered a war tactic when they attack our water resources and our land and our food resources, which I believe is coming, and we're already seeing it with the current tariffs. And our buffalo can't roam the way they used to roam. And as I step outside, I seen a bunch of strawberries growing on the ground in every footstep that I took, and that was very beautiful. So I'd like to say thank you for inviting us here. Thank you for holding this space. And I'm going to end with a song that my son had made for my daughter when she went missing. And he would sing it to me because it took 2 weeks to find her. And I finally kind of built the courage up to sing this song and kind of remember my son in that way, but also remember all the MMIW people of the world like that. Yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, away, away, hey, yo, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yo, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, away, away, yo, hey, yeah. Hey, ya, ya, hey, ya, away, ya, away, away, yo, hey, ya, hey, ya. Sorry. Ya, hey, ya, 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 hey, ya, 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 hey, ya, away, ya, away, away, yo, hey, yo, hey, ya, hey, ya, yo, ya, hey, yo, hey, yo, away, yo, away, away, yo, hey, yo, hey. That's all I can do right now. I apologize. Thank you.